Hi, I'm John Giesick, and welcome to the C-Suite Sherpa podcast, where we highlight business owners, experts, and resources that you should know. Today, we have a special guest, Roberta Cocco. She is the chair for the C12 North Suburban Detroit District, and they are a peer advisory group, and they set up forums for CEOs and business owners. So, Roberta, tell us a little bit about your company and who you help most.
Well, thanks, John. It's great to be here. I'm excited to share more about C12. It is the largest peer advisory group for Christian CEOs and business owners. It's kind of a best kept secret. We really work to equip business owners and executives to build great businesses for a greater purpose.
I appreciate you sharing that, Roberta. So, when you talk about the business owners and the CEOs, who qualifies?
We love to work with people who have a team of at least 7 to 10. That is so they can step away. Part of what we do in serving these executives is give them a full day retreat where they get to step away from their business. We bring content that deals with revenue, organization, systems. And in order for them to take advantage of that day, we don't want them worried about making money or having to answer the phone or return emails. So that's one of the filters that we use. Another one is simply revenue. We look for people that are at a minimum of $1 million or more, and that helps them to afford the investment for the day as well.
Having someone to do your work while you're doing an offsite helps owners and CEOs justify the offsite experience. So yeah, that makes sense. What about when people are coming to you looking for help? I'm guessing it's the CEO or the founder or the owner. What's the common thread that they come to you with to fix? What do they say? Roberta, here's what I need help with. Is there a pattern or a thread that you get most often?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually, leaders at this level know how to get things done. Otherwise, they wouldn't be enjoying the success. But oftentimes, we're also human. So a lot of the things that trip us up are those personal relationships, people to people. Some of the soft skills that we're realizing are actually the harder skills. And so, helping them to overcome, whether it's personal, maybe imposter syndrome or ego, or maybe it's just conflict resolution where they need to step into, where they need to step back from. So traditionally, you might think it is a business topic. And one of the great assets of having a peer advisory table is having peers that understand the unique challenges in the business, but also dealing with those personal people skills.
Yeah, I could imagine you getting to the point in your process with a client and the CEO realizing that he's the problem. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, that also is interesting, right? One of the things that I really respect and love and honor about leaders who are willing to step into a peer advisory group or a coaching environment is they really are willing to be wrong. They're willing to explore new ideas and understand that in order to grow and develop, they have to first admit that they don't know everything. So it's that interesting tension between not knowing what you really wish you did know, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. When you talk about imposter syndrome, business owners and CEOs put a lot of pressure on themselves to know everything and have all the answers because they're the president or the CEO or the founder. And to get them to a place where they could be transparent and say, listen, I don't know. I mean, that's huge. It's got to be huge for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. Who doesn't like an echo chamber, right? Where people are always saying yes or repeating ourselves. But again, when you have that kind of pressure and people expect you to show up with the answers, expect you to know, having a safe space where you can hear your own thoughts is really a powerful asset. It's not that these leaders don't know what needs to be done, but we all need a space to work it out before, let's say, you go public with it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Roberta. So, in your space, what separates C12 from the other people in your space that do what you do?
Yeah, there's a lot of organizations out there, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, that have popped up to help C12 business owners and executives, or CEOs rather. C12's unique distinguishing factor really is that we're faith-based. organization. So we serve Christian CEOs and business owners. A lot of times Christians can get a bit of a bad rap. I don't know if you've ever watched a Christian movie and people say it was good for a Christian movie. So for C12, we really drive towards results, where we drive towards excellence. We don't apologize for that. We feel like God measures things, and so should we. So I think both having that Christian foundation and also being very unapologetically results driven sets us apart.
Yeah, that's awesome, Roberta. Can you share the mission statement with us? Because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so the mission is to equip Christian CEOs and business owners to build great businesses for a greater purpose. And we do have a vision to change the world by advancing the gospel in the marketplace. So it's quite an exciting organization to be a part of.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. So, the biggest challenge your industry faces, probably over the next 2 to 5 years, what would you say that would be?
Yeah, that's a great question. First off, the thing that comes to mind is less than 4% of CEOs and business owners actually are in a peer advisory group or receiving quality executive coaching. That's a challenge because there just isn't enough awareness and practical understanding of the value. When you are someone who knows how to get things done, asking for help can be vulnerable. It can seem like maybe that means I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's always one of the challenges we have in our industry, to make it not only okay to be involved in an organization like this, but to understand that it's an elite and exclusive opportunity. Other than that, I think the normal challenges are at play for the next couple of years. We've got a lot of system issues with AI that are coming up, cultural issues, generational issues. Some of that is the people skills and the emotional intelligence as the workforce changes and we get different demographics coming in and moving out. I think it's even more relevant and important to have a group of people to work through some of that tension.
Yeah, with all the demographics, I mean, with the age gap between the 50 plus and the 20-year-olds coming in, and all the different ways of communicating, and technology moving so fast, someone like me would feel outdated and run over by the younger crowd with technology and just doing my job way easier or faster than I'm able to. Even communicating with them, talking their language is a hurdle.
I think that is something a lot of the older generation isn't sure how to relate to. The interesting thing that I continue to discover is how important this younger generation feels about life balance. And so while I grew up in the 80s and 90s and it was about hustle, I worked 2 or 3 jobs and all of my friends did. We were just trying to make money, right? Even some of my adult children and some of the people that I'm working with that are in their mid 20s or early 30s, they're more concerned with creating balance and making sure that there's quality of life, quality of culture. And so that's actually a great challenge to try to solve and bridge.
And I think if we didn't have the experience of COVID, it still would be separate. It still would be work and life. And I think COVID forced people to do them together where they
Mhm.
can do work-life balance. I mean, it seemed like it was just a goal to have, but now it's becoming more of a requirement, like kind of what you were saying.
And I think that's the challenge, is to figure out there's a lot that we pass down inside an organization, a lot of mentoring that happens in person, face to face, and just bumping into each other, those unexpected and serendipitous moments. And so, with some of the hybrid spaces, some of the virtual spaces, that's also a challenge in learning how to navigate it. I do think there is a lot of good that's coming out of the awareness, though, around like what would it look like to be able to be more present in my home and present in my business. One of the things we work on in C12 is we call it a snapshot, and it's a holistic look. So we're not just driving towards results in our business, but we ask the question on a monthly basis, like, where are you at in your rest and your retreat? Where are you at in your biblical community, in your marriage, in your health and fitness? It's really interesting when you start to track and chart that. And of course, the measurements, the numbers, scale of 1 to 10, my 8 looks different than everybody else's, but it looks usually the same to me. So being able to come back to that on a regular cadence is creating a lot of powerful awareness that I believe is contributing to people finding that balance.
Yeah, that's great. That's a huge differential dealing with the whole package versus just the work part. You get to also do the life part. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to loosen up a little bit, Roberta. I'm going to loosen my proverbial tie. And I want to give the viewers an opportunity to get to know you more on a personal level. We'll go through a quasi lightning round. Some of these you'll be able to answer real quick, and some of them you might have to, go, hmm. But I just want to give you a chance to let the viewers know you a little bit more personally. So we'll start off easy. Coffee or tea?
Coffee every time.
Every time, all day?
Every time, all day, coffee.
Perfect. How about cats or dogs?
Oh, can I say neither? Is that bad? But I guess
No.
I'd go dogs if I have to.
So neither. Is there another preferred pet or just not an animal person?
Yeah, I'm not really a big animal person.
That's okay. There's plenty
All
of
right.
us out there.
Yeah. I like plants. Does that count?
Yeah, let's go with plants. Okay, so I don't know if you know this or not, Roberta, but there's a zombie apocalypse coming. So when that happens, you only get to take one thing with you. What are you taking with?
Flamethrower.
Oh, you're going down swinging, right?
Right, right.
Perfect. How about a quote or, someone impacted you or there was a quote that you read as you were building your professional career, something that stuck with you and made a difference, something that you printed out and went to often. Is there something like that? Even a Bible verse.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Bible verse. I would say, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. That comes in Mark 9:4 or something. But
Oh, that's awesome. That's a poster somewhere.
yeah.
How about you sound super busy, Roberta, but how about if you get a chance to sit on the couch in front of the TV, what's on the TV? You got a favorite series or an old movie or something you're watching currently? What pops up on the screen?
We're actually watching Person of Interest right now for the second time, so I must like it.
That must be good.
Yeah, yeah.
How about a book? A book you read in the past or something you're reading currently?
Immunity to Change is my favorite book. I don't read much fiction, but that's a good one.
Okay, great. Let's shift over to a bucket list. Give me one thing that was on your bucket list that you already crossed off and something else that's on your bucket list that you will accomplish.
I like to do physical challenges. I started riding a unicycle 2 years ago, so that was on my bucket list. I mean, I can get like 8, 10 feet, but I dare you to sit on one because it's hard. What's still on my bucket list is probably a hot air balloon ride. That's something I still want.
Unicycle. You had me at unicycle. Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great challenge. That's awesome.
It's
I want to talk about one of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome personally to get the professional success that you're achieving right now.
personal obstacle. There's a lot of things that get in the way of our success, personally and professionally. When I think about what may get in the way or what I've had to go through, right before I got into coaching, I was diagnosed with cancer. That had the opportunity to really take me down. There's a lot of uncertainty involved. It's outside of your control. Not only is it a mental game, but it's a physical game. I was grateful not only for my faith during that journey, but also for the coaching principles. I learned how to choose how I wanted to show up in situations, choose the legacy that I wanted to leave behind, choose how I wanted to relate to different challenges in my life. I think it was a huge blessing. I kind of found coaching and cancer in the same year or in the same 18 months. It could have been an obstacle, but it turned out to be really fuel.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have had that self-reflection in that time if you didn't have to deal with your cancer?
I absolutely don't think that I would have. I looked at it again, kind of coming out of that old school 80s, 90s grind. It was all about the hustle. And I was big into just put your shoulder down and bust through the wall, right? Challenge accepted. So having that kind of disruption in my life really necessitated that I take a step back. I guess it didn't necessitate it, but for me, it certainly slowed me down and made me rethink who I was, who I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great because that's great that you seized that opportunity and not just let it slip. I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Roberta, I really enjoyed talking to you. We're going to wrap it up. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and talk to you about C12 or any other offerings that you have, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, John. I've got a LinkedIn profile page, which is probably the best way. It's Roberta Eden Coco. And if you reach out to me there, we have a strategic planning tool, which is fantastic right now, especially this time of the year, which I'd love to give anyone who's willing to set up maybe a 15-minute call, see where there might be alignment and what it is that they're up to.
That's great, Roberta. I appreciate the offer and I appreciate you taking the time today, getting to know you a little bit, and look forward to connecting more soon.
Thank you.